Time, the Sonics. If you've busted a twist, you're in the right place. KRFF 95.9 LPFM, RadioFreeFargo.org. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson every Thursday, 4 o'clock. I get in here, 4:20, open a big fat bag of cannabis news. This Thursday's no different, except I won't be doing all the talking. We've got somebody calling in that'll shed a little light on this new measure circling North Dakota, and it'll be exciting. It's the first time in a while since I've had to talk to another human. So let's pray my manners are up to speed, and I don't do a bunch of stuttering or ask them questions that you're not supposed to ask. You know what I mean? The ones that are supposed to stay in your head, them are the ones I'm going to have to try to make sure don't sneak out. In the morning, it's Country with Trav, Monday through Friday. After me, Stinky Arts Music Mart, then Mixtape, then Artemis Blood Shrine. Wraps up your Thursday here on the best independent radio station as far as I'm concerned. I believe God created cannabis for us to use as we see fit, and I show him props every Sunday. Antioch Church, 417 Main Avenue, 10 a.m. We do a recovery class. If you've got a monkey on your back, or you've kicked said monkey off your back, but you can feel that little banana eater grabbing at your pant leg, come on through. We believe the man upstairs can take care of you. And then worship at 11. I'm on stick duty. Come watch me flail. This show is brought to you by Black Cottage Alchemy. Black Cottage Alchemy on Facebook. 1,200 migs of locally grown hemp whipped up into this little tub of magic. Colloidal silver's in there too. Comfrey to make your outer body happy. Thank you, Black Cottage Alchemy, for sponsoring this show as we cruise through red tape. You're listening to Radio Free Fargo 95.9. It's a community radio. You a business owner, you a manager of a nonprofit organization considering advertising? Why not learn what underwriting is on a nonprofit community radio station instead? To learn more about what underwriting is, please contact us at our website, www.radiofreefargo.org, or at our profile on Facebook. Why not let listeners know that you support the community by supporting a community radio station like 95.9? Again, everybody, thank you for joining me here. I blow out sound from Fargo, North Dakota, but RadioFreeFargo.org, the beauty of the internet, I can get everywhere you are. I can get into your ear hole. Again, New Economic Frontier is the newest measure that is now poised for petitionery. And they only have a couple months to get it done, but it looks like they've got, what do they say? The grease, squeaky wheel gets the grease, but then the grease makes things move smoother. And these guys, I think, have the grease. New Economic Frontier. And if it works out the way I think it is, the lead sponsor, the lead chair, Mr. Steve Bakken, will be in here. And by in here, just in your ear hole, he'll be calling in. I mean, unless he shows up at the front door, I'll let him in if I have to. All right. But again, 420, we'll open a big fat bag of cannabis news, but the news will be in the form of a phone call from the lead sponsor of the from New Economic Frontier, the group promoting their new measure for legalization. It has a home grow provision, so that's neat. I do have some questions, of course, so I've got them wrote down on my handy dandy little thingy that you write your stuff down. So anyway, let's get into the first musical thing. I got brand new Willie Nelson, so that's exciting. But I think I'm going to talk just a little bit more. Again, we are scheduled to have Steve Bakken, the chair lead of the from New Economic Frontier. It's the new legalization measure in the state of North Dakota. I'll just briefly run it by you. Under this measure, adults 21 and older will be able to use cannabis at home without punishment. They're allowing possession of limited amounts, broken down below: 1 ounce of cannabis, 4 grams of concentrate, 1,500 migs of adult-use cannabinoid products. 300 milligrams of this can be in the form of edible products. Ability to grow 3 plants per person over the age of 21. Limit of 6 plants per household. Now, the question I have is, those plants, man, depending on the fertilizer you're using or whatever, they're going to be pretty sturdy. So what are you going to do with all that? I mean, it's going to exceed an ounce. Then what? Can you gift it? We'll find out. What happens if you get caught with a little more than an ounce? What are the penalties for that? So we'll be asking those questions at 420 when the lead sponsor, Mr. Steve Bakken, calls in. At least that's the plan as we speak. So let's get you a little music. Here's Willie Nelson, brand new, made in Texas. Hello, friends. Willie Nelson, made in Texas, brand new by the 480th-year-old maestro. I don't know how old he is, but he's at least 675. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Every Thursday I get in here, 4 o'clock, 4:20. I open a big fat bag of cannabis news. We have Mr. Steve Bakken, as far as I know, on deck to call in and enrich us with his knowledge of the new measure he's leading. And that's exciting. Again, I got questions. Hopefully I'll answer the ones that you have. GWWEENMANIZZLE 2008 at hotmail.com. If you've got any questions or anything you want me to find out, or just any questions in general, you can email me there. Maybe you want to call in and talk about something. Email your boy. All right. But anyway, what are we going to talk about now? Let's talk about something. Again, at 4:20, stick around. We've got a Steve Bakken, lead sponsor chair, calling in to answer some of my questions and to just give us an idea about this measure that's sweeping our state and his plans and, and that sort of thing. So it's going to be exciting. I'm excited. But first, this is from High Times. The title's crazy. DMT lab discovered in Brentwood, California during robbery raid. Multiple suspects face numerous charges for alleged burglary, grand theft, manufacturing, possessing a controlled substance, and the coup de grace, child endangerment. So, here's what's crazy. Detectives in Walnut Creek, California, investigated a man and woman suspected of robbing a liquor store. And they stumbled on a fully functioning DMT lab at their home nearby in Brentwood. Police say that some of the suspects allegedly used explosive materials in the presence of a child to extract and synthesize DMT. Okay. Daniel Kumarau, 42, and Maxwell Hayworth, 44, allegedly entered Hobson Scotch, which I don't know who's naming this stuff, but I kind of like it. I mean, is it supposed to be hop and skip? I don't know. But anyway, it's a liquor-based, it's a booze store, and robbed them for $50,000 to $60,000 worth of alcohol in bottles. Now, I don't know how many bottles that is, but man, you're juggling a lot of glass there, bruh. Walnut Creek, where the liquor store is located, is known for its upscale shopping. The robbery took place March 23rd at about 12:10 a.m., and video footage shows a man and woman loading bottles of liqueur into a Nissan. Of course, it's always a Nissan, right? After cutting a hole in the wall. Now, I personally would like a little more information about that. What do you mean you cut a hole in the wall? With a Sawzall? I mean, what kind of wall are we talking about? Was this a cardboard liquor store? I don't know. They rented the Frontier ahead of the crime that took place. Well, now these guys are thinking. I mean, and they need to be, what with the fact that they've got a DMT lab that their kids are overlooking while they're out robbing bottles. The Mercury News reports the pair became suspects when a rental car used in the break-in was linked back to these guys. But when police showed up to their home on Shasta Daisy Lane, which if you're going to have a DMT lab, it should be on Daisy Lane, they were surprised to discover lab equipment. And I suppose you are. You're like, hey, the car you rented was, you guys are cutting holes in walls, stealing bottles. Whoa, what's this? DMT? So, of course, you're surprised. Now, CBS News reports the authorities said they found 3 containers of an explosive compound used in the process to make DMT. Upon learning about a possibly explosive compound, they sent the bomb squad out, and they determined that the compound in the containers were, here's like a bunch of fun names here, triacetone, triperoxide, or TATP, of course, which is a highly volatile explosive. And again, like I said, I'd like to know how volatile. How volatile is it? But anyway, you can make this using readily accessible reagents, and it's extremely difficult to detect due to its lack of UV absorbance, fluorescence, or facile ionization. Now, for you bomb makers out there, that probably made some sense to y'all, but what are we talking about here? There's absorptions, fluorescence, what are we talking about? Light bombs? Anyway, the area in Brentwood was evacuated for safety as crews moved the containers of TATP to another location for detonation. One container had to be detonated in one place. All the detonations reportedly went safe. Okay. So they detonated it off. Well, that seems kind of fun. So Contra Costa sheriffs, they announced the operation last month, March 26th. They served a search warrant, and they were arrested and booked into the jail for, again, alleged burglary, grand theft, manufacturing, and this is insane. Their bail was set at $380,000. They posted $250,000 bail and is a free woman while the case is pending. All right, so the girl's out. Both are due in court this month in May. They'd be open to tips about the alleged crimes that took place in the Brentwood, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, yeah, DMT, that's kind of wild, folks. Anyway, you're listening to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I'm Wilson. 420, we're going to have a call-in guest. The lead sponsor of the new Economic Frontier Group has a new sponsor, a new legalization measure that is flooding the airwaves, folks. The petitioners will be on the streets, if not now, soon. We'll find that out. At 420, we'll find out more about the measure. And it's exciting times. Again, stick with me. 420, that'll happen. I'm going to do this and that, and then I'm going to play some music, and then boom, it'll be time. It'll be nice to get it over with. I'm not saying I'm stressed, but I'm not saying I'm not stressed either. Programming on 95.9, Radio Free Fargo, KRFF LP is being underwritten by Drummer's Journey. Drummer's Journey offers percussion instruments, hardware, electronics, accessories, and more. They have full service for drummers, including repair, custom building, and lessons. Drummer's Journey is located at Highway 10 East Mall in Moorhead, Minnesota. Their hours are Monday through Thursday, 11 to 7. Fridays and Saturdays, 11 to 5. Sundays, noon to 5. For more info, check drummersjourney.com. They have a profile on Facebook. All right, guys. Well, we're down to that last musical song that I play. And then it looks like we'll fire up ourselves a nice interview with the lead sponsor of the current measure out for circulation. So, without further ado, here's Bound for Glory, Tedeschi Trucks Band. Up next, Steve. Boom. Bound for Glory, Tedeschi Trucks Band, here on KRFF 95.9 LPFM, RadioFreeFargo.org. It's time to open a big fat bag of cannabis news. I still don't have a phone call yet, so I'm a little nervous. I'm hoping that's just going to happen, and we're going to roll with it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play the entry music, and we'll see what happens on the other side of this. If not, I'll just wing it. I know how to do that. So, anyway, stay with me. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Up next.
Hey, it's Phil from Cannaheads. Like this episode? Hit that like button. And if you enjoy the show, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on cannabis news, local and national. Listen live on 95.9 in the Fargo, North Dakota region from 4 to 5 p.m. on Thursday. For our non-Fargo region friends, you can listen on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Now enjoy the show.
And here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my show, Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I'm Wilson. It's 420. Let's open a big fat bag of cannabis news. Again, I was expecting to have the lead sponsor on, and I'm not saying he won't. Maybe some lines got crossed, and he'll be calling in shortly. And when he does, we'll slap him right on through, and we'll keep it moving. Again, North Dakota has a group that submitted, and so that's what's happening. And that's what's happening. So, again, it was my impression that we were going to get to talk to somebody today, but if that's not the case, that's not the case. So there's exciting news we can certainly talk about, right? We can certainly talk about rescheduling, right? Cannabis moment. Rescheduling cannabis shifts the paradigm by finally recognizing its medical value. And that's a big deal. That really is a big deal. Again, it's now in the same category as codeine. And I don't know if anybody knows about codeine, but when you got a sickness, there's certainly a medical application for that. Now, they just don't want you to drink a double cup in it. But they definitely have, it has medical value. And that's what Schedule 3 is. They now have recognized, right, by moving cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3, so the DEA's decision to reschedule cannabis represents an historical and critically important shift in U.S. drug policy. By moving cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3, the U.S. government is finally and officially recognizing the efficacy and safety of cannabis for medical use. There are valid and important reasons why Schedule 3 is not the most appropriate classification for cannabis. It does not achieve imminently needed criminal justice, and there's cats now in jail going, whoa, we going to get any love? Nah, it's just going to start now and move on, you know? So a strong case can be made that cannabis, like alcohol, should not be included in the drug schedules. But again, this is a major win. I mean, when you've got a substance, right, a plant that you believe in, and people are like, yeah, we want to believe you, but it's classified with heroin. And then it's like, ooh, okay, well, you know, and again, I take my, say, marching orders from the man upstairs, not necessarily the government, but the government is definitely, you know, is definitely, yeah, that's definitely interesting. But again, it's kind of, now you can say, well, at least it has the same medical applications as codeine cough syrup. You know, now I believe it's way mellower than that. And I mean, if all these people that talk smack, right? All these people that talk smack, like this lady here. Let's see, where is she? Where is this lady? Senator Jan Myrdal. She says she's firmly against legalizing cannabis, saying, I just don't believe in illicit drugs being legalized. Well, it's no longer illicit now, is it? It's now a medical applicable substance. It has medical value. The DEA, who I'm sure you kowtow to, right? I'm sure you would listen to them, said, no, it's not illicit. So it's like, now what, Jan? Now what? Are you firmly against something that's not an illicit drug anymore? I mean, and that's what I'm saying. So it's hard to take credence with legislators when they just talk smack. And here's another case in point. She goes, what else are we going to start legalizing, right? Like, so it's like a slippery slope. Like, she thinks, well, if we can legalize cannabis, which has medical implications, right? It has medical benefit. Well, we got a phone call here. Let me see if this is our guy. Hello, you're on with Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Is this New Economic Frontier?
No, it's Phil.
Oh, well, you're live, man. So I thought maybe it was. Yeah. So I don't know, man. What? I guess I thought. Go ahead.
So I emailed them on the 17th saying, hey, would like to have an interview with you. You guys seem pretty chill and everything's all good. They emailed back the next day and we're like, yeah, we'd love to. So we started, you know, talking like, okay, this is the number to call. This is the time to call in, all of that stuff. They said that it was going to be Steve that was going to call in.
Mm-hmm.
Then yesterday morning, I emailed saying, hey, just want to confirm, make sure everything's all good. If they had any questions or if they wanted to add like an event and stuff like that, told them, hey, if you have events, let me know. Mm-hmm. Never got anything back, but you know, sometimes they're busy. They're getting they're getting signatures and
I guess I don't know. But again, professionally, it stinks, you know, it's just not in the professional handbook. And so now I'm like, well, yeah, typical legislator type, you know, fancy talk, you know? So I don't know. I'm a little disappointed too. I was stoked, but at the end of the day, you know, I can riff on my own. We're talking to, Pilco, my producer, and, we were expecting a call and not him. I was expecting not this guy to be talking to me, but he is. I'm going to let you go and get back at it. But yeah,
okay.
We'll see. We'll see how things go. But at this point, the new Measure Cats are a no-show, yo, and I don't dig it.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to try to reach out to them again, just see if we can reschedule. I mean,
that's cool.
But yeah, that's not a great look.
Yeah, no, it could have been a little better. All right, man. See ya. Okay. Well, that's the beauty of technology like that. So we're just going to keep moving along here. But again, here's what she says, Jan Myrdal, right? She's firmly against legalizing recreational cannabis. But again, I've never once heard her get on the floor and talk about how we should start demonizing alcohol. And as a Christian, I mean, I don't want to put anything in this temple, right? This is the temple of God inside me. You're not going to catch me anywhere near booze or tobacco, or smoking something, because I believe it's not healthy, right? But we just ignore the fact that those things are horrible, and we're allowing it. It's almost like they're complicit, these guys, in it, by allowing it to continue. But yet they want me to take her seriously when she says, now what? Now what are we going to legalize? If we're going to legalize this horrible plant that God created? She says even further, other nations have gone and legalized all kinds of wrongdoings. And so that could include anything. Cannibalism, selling your children. What? Right? Other nations have gone and legalized all kinds of wrongdoings and things that are negative for young people, negative for the human body at large. And I think we're just going in the wrong direction of saying it. Of saying, oh, well, people are going to do it anyway, so let's just legalize it. She said all kinds of nothing there. I mean, I'd like to know, first of all, what nations is she talking about? What other nations have gone and legalized? What are we talking about? Because other nations I know will long drop hang you for just looking at a bag of heroin. So I don't know. So, making it Schedule 3 now just really sticks a sock at all these naysayers, and I love it. I stinking love it. If you're just tuning in, it's Canna-Talk ND with Wilson, 420, open a big fat bag of cannabis news. I had Steve Bakken scheduled, the lead sponsor of this new measure, to call in. His people had said they were going to, and now here's the time where I should be talking to him about his measure, and he no here. So, again, I'm sure something came up, but, those guys, I would imagine a county commissioner knows how to professionally respond to emails and such. There's a modicum propaganda, there's a decorum, right? A decorum professionally that I would assume me not to follow. But even I know if you made a plan to do something, your word should have you here, right? So, if your word's no good, what is his intentions for this measure? So I don't know. And let's say only 5 people listen to me. Okay. But I would think that you would want me completely and fully behind this based on the character of the people involved. Right. But anyway, we keep it pushing here. So, again, this from the North Dakota Monitor, Biden administration to greatly ease cannabis regulations. And that happened since the last time I was on the phone with y'all, or on the show with y'all. All right. So, like I said, it used to be with heroin and methamphetamine, Schedule 1. And there's no room to move. And again, even like I said, I want people to look at me as somebody who would utilize it as not a bad guy. I can still follow a faith and utilize a medicine that has a medical application, especially a natural one, because the pharmaceutical companies, and I can go on and on. My brother's a case in point. He's off the VA crazy meds, the psych meds, the ones that when you go off them tell you to jump in front of planes and trains. I'm not sure how you can jump in front of a plane. You could, but probably not as realistic as jumping in front of a semi. But again, cannabis doesn't come with suicidal ideation, certainly when you stop it. And again, we need to be looking at our endocannabinoid system. The ECS is bigger than our nervous system. All right. So why aren't we looking at it, and how do we make it happy? And it's in charge of homeostasis, our body regulation. It's a cool thing. So, anywho, today the Attorney General circulated a proposal to reclassify cannabis from 1 to 3. So, again, it's a category for regulated but legal drugs. Okay? Legal, including testosterone, which is no bueno, but Tylenol with codeine. Just think of all the millions of kids that get this for their croup and their coughs on a plane. Coughs on a plane, right? But anyway, again, I had planned to have the lead sponsor call in. He had said that he would, but he no did. So I'm kind of limping. I don't have all the articles I normally do. But we do have a couple articles to look at here. North Dakota cannabis advocates say reclassifying cannabis is a step in the right direction. So the DEA is making, again, Schedule 1 to 3. Advocates looking to get it on the ballot says it's a good step in the right direction. And again, it's interesting because a lot of these are kind of like, are politically motivated or politically minded, you know, and it was always my impression that the politicians kind of were in lockstep with the low-hanging fruit that simple cannabis busts provided the coffers, you know, and cops were able to go home and go, yeah, I busted good old Sam for cannabis, you know. He's such a nice guy, easygoing. It was a shame to bust him. And yet you make money. You don't feel bad because it's not really that big a deal. It wasn't that hard. He did most of the work for you. It was calm, agreeable. And now you've got like a naked tweaker up in a tree that the cops got to get down. Who do you think they'd rather get? And that naked tweaker in a tree ain't going to be able to pay any fines. He's going to be a leech on the system. You know, and you're going to have to pay a bunch of money. A low-hanging fruit, Sam, he's got a job. He's going to pay that fine off right away. Quick money in the coffers. So it's interesting to see people like this, kind of politician-minded, using statements that we've used from the beginning. Millions of Americans have been able to recognize the therapeutic potential. Millions, okay? And all other benefits of our economy. All right? So let me tell you this. This is from High Times. U.S. economy to receive a $112 billion boost from cannabis industry in 2024. $112 billion. So tell me, after that happens in 2025, how many Kensington Avenues, how many Pike Street and 3rd Avenues in Seattle, how many Tenderloin crazy tent camps with people just zombieing around on fentanyl will we see after this? I mean, we're selling billions of a product that should be showing devastating results by now. I mean, even California and Colorado and Washington and Oregon, we should have been able to look and go, ugh, right? And look at all the references and all the statistics of it increasing, all these crimes, all the property. I mean, just look at how devastating fentanyl use and camping outside stores. And I mean, it's people even I watched this documentary, Seattle, down in the Pike's Place, jumping with tourism and stuff is now just littered with half-naked people, you know, eating their own crap, you know, statues, just, you know, crazy sores on people that are breaking into stores. Is lawlessness. Now, just imagine if cannabis was bad, the devastation that our world would be in at $112 billion boost. Okay, I just don't see it. And when people like Senator What's Her Name, Know It All, start saying vague stuff, like it might work for, I guess, the ignorant who just want to believe whatever they hear, but there's just not enough proof. And now DEA's rescheduling. So now it's like coding. Okay? And just think how applicable cough syrup is. Very applicable. Okay? Green isn't just the color of cannabis, but cash too. And thanks to your valiant efforts of consumption, the industry is looking to help out the economy. Info from the newly released fact book reveals that the economic impact could exceed a whopping $112 billion this year. That's a 12% growth compared to last year, which means it was still in the hundreds of billions of dollars. Okay? As a result, so the slowdown in economic growth due to higher unemployment levels and reduced inflation. After this, economic growth is expected to rebound in 2025. So, and then level off in the following year. So while 2024 is likely going to be one of the best economic years on record, it's not the cannabis industry's fault. Now check this out. Here's some numbers for you. The industry is projected to contribute over $200 billion in additional spending to the U.S. economy by 2030. Huh? crazy. That's nutty. So now I got even more good news for you. Again, you listen to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I regrouped pretty well. I hope I wasn't too boring. We were expecting a call-in guest, and they flaked. And maybe they didn't flake, but my brain is very active, very imaginative. And I feel like, why wouldn't you want to drop everything and talk to Wilson? So it hurts my feelings. My feelings are hurt, folks. I need a hug. Nah, just kidding. Because at the end of the day, there is some stress to it. And in a second, that stress was removed. I would have probably played a different song, but whatever. It's cool. It's cool, y'all. Okay. Cannabis stocks soar after cannabis rescheduling news. Cannabis companies soar with their stocks on Tuesday following reports that the DEA would move to reschedule cannabis from 1 to 3. And that really is just a big... So here we're talking, all right, so Canopy Growth Corporation shares surged more than 65%. Okay? 35%. Aurora Cannabis shares jumped 46%. So, like, if you were in cannabis stocks, man, you made some bank this week. And I applaud you. Good for you. Good for you. So, notably, Schedule 3 does not mean the end of federal prohibition. Rather, cannabis would still be federally regulated alongside the likes of ketamine and anabolic steroids. However, the change should lead to lower taxes for the cannabis industry and easier access to cannabis for medical and research purposes. And it signals the most significant shift in U.S. drug policy over 50 years. Many cannabis advocates have praised the rescheduling move as progress in cannabis reforms effort, but many more highlight concerns, and call for removing it altogether. Again, for me, who's been battling uphill and getting the side eye, the judgment, how dare you do something that's scheduled with heroin? But when I can say, hey, have you ever gotten a prescription for cough syrup for your 4-year-old? Well, guess what? I'm not a 4-year-old. And I'm smart enough to know that if I need to, I could use something like that. It's a natural substance. It's just, it is what it is. So again, New Economic Frontier, they're the new group to sponsor a measure. Petition workers are out on the street. Again, I had thought the lead sponsor had agreed to talk with your boy. But if you stuck with me here, I'm the only voice pumping through this thing. We did have a call in from my producer, but that's not the same thing. It's nice to hear from him, right? Nice to know there's somebody out there. Especially doing the stuff scares me to death. I couldn't call, email. It's not in my blah, blah, blah. Okay? So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to a website. Okay? And then I'll just read off some stuff, and then we'll wrap up here. And then hopefully next week, or we'll reschedule, or maybe it was just, I don't know. We'll see. Anyhow, Vermont Senate approves bills to open safe drug consumption sites. That does not sound like a good idea, right? That don't sound like a good idea. Top House Democrat says rescheduling is a step in the right direction. So I don't know what 280E means, but apparently that is going to be allowed with businesses of cannabis. So hemp growers would see reduced regulatory barriers under state Democrats' farm bill, whatever that means. Now, let's look at this article here. Cannabis legalization opponents, guess who that is? Sam. Not my brother, but smart approaches to cannabis. Should be SAC instead of Sam. Smart approaches to cannabis. They should be SAC. Sweaty SAC. All right, what are we doing? Sam will oppose this change at every level, including, if necessary, pursuing legal action. The group Smart Approaches to Cannabis wrote in an email on Wednesday and included a link that describes as a rescheduling legal defense fund asking for one-time or monthly donations. So we'll see, like when it goes up 50, 60, like what do they say, 80% of Americans approve? I'd like to think they don't get any stinking money, so they know it's like, hey. So here's their idea, all right? Here's the spin they're going to try to get you to, be with. This does not mean cannabis is legalized. It will remain federally illegal. But if implemented, moving cannabis to Schedule 3 would give big cannabis billions in tax write-offs, as well as continue the normalization of high-potency THC drugs. Sam did not immediately provide more details about the possible legal action because, again, details isn't what a lot of these guys have. They spout stuff. We've seen how horrible it's been for them over there. Well, who's them and over where, and how horrible has it been? Give me some numbers, because I can show you numbers of fentanyl increases and fentanyl deaths. Insane. Insanity. Look at Seattle, Washington's fentanyl deaths this year, and then look at 2011. Okay? And then just try to find me some stats like that as states become legalized. Because, again, the more states become legalized, the more other states have it too. And that's just the bottom line. So don't tell me that it has to be legal before we see the devastation, because there's devastation, friend, when it comes to other things. And when I say illicit, I'd say somebody who would ignore a sore the size of a Frisbee on their butt, knowing it came from a drug they're looking to get more of. Show me them stats, bruh. Anyway, you've been listening to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I'm Wilson. I hope you leave here today informed with just a tiny, tiny, tiny sour taste in our mouth about this measure people. Programming on KRFF, LP, FM, Radio Free Fargo 95.9 FM has been underwritten by Flatland Guitar and Luthery. Flatland Guitars, your full-service guitar shop, and your exclusive dealer for Yamaha, Taylor, Paul Reed Smith guitars, and other brands. They sell guitars on consignment. They take trade-ins and have a full-service on-site repair center. Check out Flatland Guitar and Luthery on Facebook or visit them in person at 1450 25th Street South in Fargo. Their hours are Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturdays 10 to 5, closed on the Lord's Day. Let me play you some brand new music from my boy C6 Steve. I'm pretty stoked about this. Internet Cowboys. Here we go. You better watch out. Internet Cowboys gonna ride into your home. C6 Steve on KRFF 95.9, RadioFreeFargo.org. We're streaming everywhere on this blue and green marble. We can get into your ear hole. You've been listening to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I get in here 4 o'clock, 4:20, open a big fatty bag of cannabis news. It was a little bit of a roller coaster. We expected a call in. It didn't happen, but we moved. We kept pushing. That's how we do it. So there is a new measure being circulated as we speak. New economic frontier. If you see a petitioner out and about, do your thing, huh? And we'll be back next Thursday like we do. I believe God created cannabis for us to use as we see fit. And I show him props every Sunday. Antioch Church, 417 Main Avenue, 10 a.m. a recovery class. If you're a junkie with a monkey, or you've kicked the monkey, but you can feel him pulling on you, a little banana eater pulling on your pant leg, we believe the man upstairs comes to our place and he can help you. 11 a.m. worship. This show is brought to you by a Black Cottage Alchemy. Black Cottage Alchemy on Facebook. 1,200 mgs locally grown hemp CBD whipped up into a big frenzy with all of its fun exterior substances. I don't know what I'm saying, but your outer body, likey. Thank you, Black Cottage Alchemy, for sponsoring this show. Educate yourselves on the benefits of cannabis so you can educate others on said benefits. I'm going to jump out of here. No Stinky Arts music, Mart, but there's a mixtape, Blood Artemis Shrine. Thursdays, don't forget Fridays in the morning, we got a little country for you. Next Thursday, I'll be back through here to tell you about stuff. Until then, let me hit you with a little David Allen, Judgment Day. Peace.